The disappearance and murder of Laci Peterson, a young pregnant woman from Modesto, California, sent shockwaves through the nation in 2002. The case, shrouded in mystery and fueled by intense media coverage, captivated the public's attention and sparked countless theories and debates. 2 decades later, the Laci Peterson case continues to fascinate and intrigue, its legacy marked by unanswered questions and lingering doubts. The story of Laci and Scott Peterson, a seemingly ordinary couple expecting their first child, took a dark turn when Laci vanished without a trace on Christmas Eve. As the investigation unfolded, suspicion fell upon Scott, whose behavior and inconsistent statements raised red flags for law enforcement and the public alike. The case became a media sensation, with every twist and turn scrutinized and debated on a national stage. The Laci Peterson case transcended the realm of a typical criminal investigation, becoming a cultural phenomenon that exposed the dark underbelly of suburban life and the fragility of trust. It forced us to confront uncomfortable truths about deception, betrayal, and the complexities of human relationships. Even today, the case continues to spark debate and ignite passions, reminding us of the enduring power of true crime narratives to both captivate and unsettle us. The festive cheer of Christmas Eve 2002 was shattered in Modesto, California, when 27-year-old Laci Peterson, 8 months pregnant with her son, Connor, disappeared from her home. The last known sighting of Laci was by her mother-in-law, who had seen her at her home earlier that day. Laci's husband, Scott, reported her missing that evening, claiming he had returned from a solo fishing trip to find his wife gone, and their dog, a golden retriever named Mackenzie, wandering the neighborhood with its leash on. The seemingly normal circumstances of Laci's disappearance, coupled with the lack of any obvious signs of foul play, initially baffled investigators.
As days turned into weeks, and the search for Laci intensified, her distraught family and friends clung to hope, desperately seeking answers and praying for her safe return. Volunteers distributed flyers with Laci's smiling face, while search parties scoured the local area, hoping for any clue that could lead them to the missing woman and her unborn child. The Modesto community, deeply affected by the tragedy, rallied in support of the Peterson family, holding vigils and offering prayers for Laci's safe return. However, as time passed and the investigation deepened, a sense of unease began to settle over the case, fueled by Scott Peterson's increasingly suspicious behavior and inconsistencies in his account of events.
As the investigation into Laci Peterson's disappearance progressed, Scott Peterson became the focal point of increasing suspicion. His actions and statements raised red flags for both law enforcement and the public. Scott's alibi, a solo fishing trip to the Berkeley Marina, came under intense scrutiny. His claim of fishing on Christmas Eve while his pregnant wife was home alone struck many as odd.
Investigators discovered Scott had purchased a fishing license on Christmas Eve itself. Adding to the skepticism was his seemingly detached demeanor in the days following Laci's disappearance. The most damning revelation came with Amber Frey, who revealed a secret romantic relationship with Scott.
The months-long search for Laci Peterson and her unborn son Connor came to a tragic end in April 2003 when their badly decomposed bodies washed ashore in San Francisco Bay, not far from where Scott Peterson claimed to have been fishing on the day of Laci's disappearance. The grim discovery, 4 months after Laci vanished, extinguished the faint hopes of her family and a nation that had been captivated by the mystery surrounding her disappearance.
Laci's body, missing its head and limbs, was found first, its advanced state of decomposition making identification difficult. Tragically, Connor's tiny body, still attached to the umbilical cord, was found shortly after, confirming the worst fears of those who had prayed for a miracle. The location of the bodies, coupled with their advanced state of decomposition, pointed towards a deliberate attempt to conceal the crime and dispose of the evidence. The proximity of the bodies to Scott's alleged fishing spot further incriminated him, casting a long shadow over his claims of innocence. The discovery of Laci and Connor's remains marked a turning point in the case, shifting the focus from a missing person investigation to a homicide investigation. The nation mourned the loss of the young mother and her unborn child, while the legal battle to bring their killer to justice was just beginning.
With the discovery of Laci and Connor Peterson's bodies, the focus shifted to building a case against her alleged killer, her husband, Scott Peterson. The trial, moved to Redwood City due to intense media coverage, became a national obsession.
The prosecution, led by District Attorney James Brazelton, presented a compelling case against Scott Peterson, painting him as a callous husband, driven to murder by his desire for a life free from marriage and fatherhood. They argued Scott, enamored with his mistress, Amber Frey, saw Laci and their unborn child as obstacles.
The defense, led by Mark Garagos, maintained Scott's innocence, portraying him as a loving husband wrongly accused. They argued the case was circumstantial, lacking direct evidence linking Scott to the murders. They suggested Laci may have been the victim of a random act of violence.
The trial, lasting 6 months, was emotionally charged and closely watched by the nation. The prosecution presented a mountain of circumstantial evidence, including Scott's infidelity and suspicious behavior.
Amber Frey, Scott Peterson's mistress, played a pivotal role in the case. Her cooperation with the police provided crucial evidence that painted a damning picture of Scott's character and intentions. Amber's recorded phone conversations with Scott, where he lied about his whereabouts and relationship status, were instrumental in the prosecution's case.
As a key witness, Amber's testimony was both compelling and heartbreaking. She described how she was deceived by Scott, believing he was a single man looking for a serious relationship. Her detailed accounts of their relationship and Scott's deceitful behavior added a layer of emotional depth to the trial, making it clear that Scott was living a double life.
Amber's involvement in the case also highlighted the broader impact of Scott's actions, not just on Laci and her family, but on everyone he deceived. Her bravery in coming forward and cooperating with the authorities was a significant turning point in the investigation and the trial. Today, Scott Peterson remains incarcerated, serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Despite numerous appeals and attempts to overturn his conviction, the courts have upheld the original verdict, finding the evidence against him overwhelming and compelling.
Scott's current status is a stark contrast to the life he once led. From a seemingly happy husband and expectant father to a convicted murderer, his story is a tragic reminder of the devastating consequences of deceit and betrayal. The case continues to be a subject of public fascination and debate, with many still questioning the events that led to Laci's tragic death.
As the years pass, the memory of Laci and Connor remains a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of justice. The case of Scott Peterson serves as a sobering example of how quickly a life can unravel, and how the pursuit of truth and justice is a never-ending journey. In a surprising turn of events, the Innocence Project decided to take on the Peterson case. Known for their success in overturning wrongful convictions, their involvement brought a new wave of hope and skepticism.
The Innocence Project brings a level of scrutiny and expertise that few other organizations can match. Their decision to get involved suggests there might be compelling evidence that has been overlooked or misunderstood.
With their reputation on the line, the Innocence Project began a thorough re-examination of the case, leaving many to wonder if a new chapter was about to unfold. The media's fascination with the Peterson case reached new heights with the release of docuseries on Netflix and Peacock. These documentaries aim to shed light on different aspects of the case, offering fresh perspectives and undisclosed details.
As a filmmaker, it's crucial to present a balanced view, especially in cases like this where public opinion is so divided. Our goal was to delve deeper, to explore the nuances that might have been missed in the initial coverage.
These series reignited public debate, drawing in viewers from around the world and keeping the conversation about Laci Peterson's tragic fate very much alive. Despite all the investigations, trials, and media coverage, the Peterson case remains shrouded in mystery. Questions linger, and theories abound.
From a psychological standpoint, the case taps into our deepest fears and curiosities. The uncertainty, the conflicting narratives, they all contribute to the enduring fascination with this case.
The search for truth continues, as does the public's enduring interest in uncovering what really happened to Laci Peterson. The legacy of the Laci Peterson murder case is a complex one. For some, justice was served. For others, it remains a glaring example of potential judicial failure.
The case has had a profound impact on how we view the justice system, highlighting both its strengths and its flaws. It has sparked debates that continue to this day.
Legally, the Peterson case has set precedents and raised questions about evidence, media influence, and the appeals process. It's a case that law students will study for years to come.
Psychologically, the case has left an indelible mark on the public consciousness. The emotional toll on the families involved and the broader societal impact cannot be overstated.
As we reflect on the Peterson case, we are reminded of the delicate balance between justice and injustice, and the ongoing quest for truth in the face of enduring mystery.